Yes, people, how's it going? Welcome back to Lily White Lane. Hope you're doing good, hope you're keeping safe and well, and hope you're having a smashing Monday evening. What are we going to be talking about and what are we going to be discussing on this evening's transfer show? There's only one player, one man, one goalkeeper we can start off by talking about on today's transfer show, and that man is David Raya. The news that's been spreading like wildfire over the weekend and tonight is that David Raya, the Brentford goalkeeper, is in talks with Tottenham Hotspur. 40 million is the price tag that Thomas Frank and Brentford have set, but it does look like Postecoglou does want David Raya to be Hugo Lloris's long-term replacement. Postecoglou there for 4 years. We're looking at a long contract potentially for Raya, and this move does look like it could happen. But the only thing stopping it, like most moves with Tottenham Hotspur, is Daniel Levy's stinginess. I do understand, right, why Daniel Levy would be slightly sceptical, because it's 40 million that you're paying for a player whose contract runs out in a year. I understand being sceptical, but be sceptical if it's a backup. Be sceptical if it's a transfer that doesn't hugely impact the team. Spurs are losing Hugo Lloris this summer. I'm going to be left with Fraser Forster. That is not good enough. We need to bring in a long-term proper replacement for Hugo Lloris this summer that can come in and not do a temporary job but do a long-term job. David Raya is that man. And if we wait another year just for his contract to run down, who's to say that another club won't come in and snap him up? This guy, in my opinion, is the perfect replacement for Hugo Lloris. His shot stopping is classy. His shot stopping is great. I don't know if, you guys had turned off by the 90th minute when we were 3-1 down to Brentford. But when I was still watching it, some of the saves he was pulling out in added time in that game. Our last home game of the season against Brentford, he had that save where he tipped it over the bar from Richarlison and the other save where he tipped it onto the post. Two absolutely world-class acrobatic saves there from David Raya. And they're not the only ones. I've had the privilege of watching some of the great football Brentford have played over the season because they've been on telly a lot, and some of the saves this guy's been making, he's a top tier shot stopper, and at this stage of his career and when you're looking at it over the whole season, I'd argue a better one than Hugo Lloris. I would argue a better one than Hugo Lloris. He's got age on his side, he's not the youngest keeper, but he's got a fair few years still to play in the game, especially goalkeepers. Goalkeepers can go on a lot longer, we know that. And look, okay, his distribution isn't necessarily on Ederson's level, but it's not on De Gea's level. It's not on Lloris's level. If distribution is good enough to work for a team that does play out from the back like Big Ange's Tottenham Hotspur will. And look, I think this guy's the perfect replacement for Hugo Lloris. So I understand why Levy would be sceptical of the 40 million. But it's a player we hugely need. It's a player we need to bring in. He's the ideal replacement. Just bring him in, man. I understand it's a little much for a player who's got a year left on his contract. But when you need a player like that, that badly, and he's there on the market, just get him in, man. Get him in. He's the perfect replacement for Hugo Lloris in my eyes. But look, the news we're hearing is that David Raya is in talks with Tottenham Hotspur. 40 million price tag. There's discussions going on about that. We're hearing that Raya wants to move to Spurs, and Postecoglou does want to bring David Raya to the football club. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure this one will develop over the week, but I want to get him in, man, and I want to get him in quick, because at the minute it's quite embarrassing. It's embarrassing to see other clubs around you making big signings, and Tottenham Hotspur tweeting out videos of Harry Kane and Romero playing bounce the ball off the flipping cups. It's bollocks. So I really like David Raya. I think he's the ideal replacement for Hugo Lloris, and I think he is an ideal long-term replacement, not a short-term one. Comment down below your thoughts on David Raya. Would you like him at the club, or would you prefer another keeper? Someone such as Gavin Bazunu, who in my opinion as well, I'll say this for another video, would be a very good replacement who could develop. But look, that is the news about David Raya. Moving on, we're hearing that Postecoglou is interested in a certain player from Celtic. Obviously, he managed at Celtic for a couple of years, and whenever a manager normally makes a transition, they always spot a couple of players that they want to bring to their next club. Postecoglou has done that, and the player that Tottenham Hotspur are being linked with right now, and we're hearing that Postecoglou is keen to potentially bring in, is Raya Hatate. The Japanese midfielder is being linked to Tottenham Hotspur, and he's another guy who I like. A lot of people might turn their nose up to Hatate and say, oh, he's only managed. It's like we're talking about Big Ange again. But no, he's only played in Scotland and in Asia, and he doesn't really have that experience. Neither does Ange. But I think Ange will succeed. And I think if we brought Rio Hatate in, we could have a Mitoma situation on our hands, genuinely. I really like the guy. I've seen him quite a bit for Celtic. And another thing that stood out to me, when Celtic were in the Champions League, you could see the big difference in quality between a lot of the Celtic players and players for the teams they were facing, such as Madrid and Leipzig. One of the players in that Celtic team who really held his own against the big clubs was Rio Hatate. There wasn't many. There really wasn't many. Kyogo, who's banging in the goals in the Scottish Premiership, didn't really hold his own in the Champions League. Neither did Maeda. Neither did, Carter Vickers, really. Neither did McGregor. Neither did most of the Celtic team. Hatate did. Hatate banged in a couple of Champions League goals. Hatate put in a few man-of-the-match performances against Leipzig and Shakhtar Donetsk. And Rio Hatate, in my opinion, is a top midfielder. I really rate the guy. He's not a class midfielder yet, but I do think he maybe does have the ability to get there. And look, age once again is on his side. I believe he's 25. Rio Hatate, could be wrong, mid-20s, something like that. Yeah, I really like the guy. I think what's the worst that can happen? Would I bring him in as the only attacking midfielder? No. No, I wouldn't. I think you either have to have a James Ward-Prowse or a James Maddison. Check out my video I did on Maddison where I also talked about Ward-Prowse the other day. But look, I do think you'd also have to have someone such as a James Ward-Prowse and a Maddison. But as a backup attacking mid, which it looks like we're going to be playing with an attacking mid under Ange for the first time in a few years, I think Hatate would be very good. And I think what's the worst that can happen? Give him a chance. You've given other crap players a chance. Some of them have worked out, some of them haven't. When we brought in Kulusevski, no one knew who he was. Spurs fans love him now. Spurs fans absolutely love him. So look, I'd give Hatate a chance. I like the guy. Now that Paratici's gone, we probably won't bring in players on loans. What load of cobblers that was. The amount of players we loaned out and didn't really clear out under Paratici. Absolute fraudster. But look, Rio Hatate, I'm open to it, man. I am open to Rio Hatate. Like I say, I'd like the guy at Spurs. I would like the guy. I wouldn't overpay anything, in my opinion, above 15 million. Maybe 20 million, but anything really above... Yeah, anything above 20 million, count me out. But underneath that, give the guy a chance. I'd say pay it, but we do know that Daniel Levy is our chairman. So, he's going to try and negotiate everything down. But look, Rio Hatate, I'm open to him. David Raya, bring him in. Those are my thoughts and opinions on the latest transfer news. Comment down below your thoughts. You guys have been absolutely awesome. I want to thank you. I don't do this enough for your constant support and comments on this channel. I love replying to them. I love seeing what you guys have put in. You guys giving your opinions. You're the reason I made this channel. I made this channel to talk to other Spurs fans, and you guys make me enjoy what I do on here. So look, thank you for watching this video. Genuinely, you guys are wicked. Take care of yourselves. All the best. Have a smashing Monday evening and week, whatever you are up to. Whatever you're doing today. In the words of Tom Skinner, whatever you're doing today and over the week, go smash it. Abosh! But look, have a good one. See you later. Take care. All the best. And as always, come on you Spurs. Enoch and Levy out. And we're going to add another one now. In Big Ange, we trust. Come on.